Good evening, YouTube. Welcome back to A Time in Refinement. Today I'll be delivering you some content, unfiltered, undecided. So, I want to talk about the shifting mindset that all people will find themselves in. What is the shifting mindset? The shifting mindset is the ever present and never ending search for a system, a process which works for you. And some people do not shift too much. I envy them, I'm not going to lie. And I think they have it right. People that go with the river, they let the nature carry them away, as Eastern philosophy would have you know. And more than likely, that is what you are supposed to do. All of this philosophy and this endless battle with your own mind to try to figure something out seems rather pointless, because language is this system which was created to sort of have a dialogue in itself. It's language is a meta system in which we create more complexity within it in order to understand it. But what we've done is not actually understood anything. We've just created a system with more gadgets and more moving parts than what previously a simple word like love would do. But that wasn't good enough, because our minds, as they are, they search for more. They look for new outlets, new opportunities, more novelty. And in that quest, you find yourself shifting back and forth and back and forth. You find something new, it's good. You're looking into it, then it's not so good. You find another philosopher, they're saying pretty much the same thing, just repackaged. So where does it take you? It takes you back to square one, where it's just you. It's the dreamer. It's the mind which self-assembled this hallucination for your own experience. And that is a freeing and terrifying thought simultaneously. And for some people, it's more terrifying than freeing. For others, that's the best thing that could possibly happen. So what do? We think our way into more thinking. And by the time we have sped up the process of thinking to where we're thinking at 50 bits per second, 150 bits per second, 1,000 bits per second, we eventually approach the singularity, or the black hole, which is all consuming. And it eventually pulls us in to the place, the void, where nothing is, where no thinking should ever occur, no systems should ever be added onto, no language should be further complicated. And a lot of people call this nirvana, or some people call it heaven, or the inner stillness, the peace of nature, whatever label you want to put on it, doesn't really matter. It all points to the same thing. So that was a really long preamble. Let us dive in to what started it all. What started it all on YouTube? As far as I know, it's something called the red pill. Now, the red pill is a reference to the cultural phenomenon, The Matrix, made by the Wachowskis. Basically a perfect movie, not that anyone asked, but everyone needs to watch The Matrix at least once in their life, ideally multiple times in their life, because first time you watch it, you're in a certain headspace, presumably. The second time you watch it, you find more gems in it. It becomes more, you appreciate it more. The more you watch it, the more you ponder it. I know at least I do. And The Matrix sprouted this concept of the red pill and the blue pill, right? Which is your choice to accept the real world and live in it by waking up, or you take the blue pill and you go back to sleep, and you resume the life that you had. And there's a strong philosophical case for taking either pill, right? Cypher is one such character who says that the steak is juicy. It doesn't matter whether it's real or not. So in a way, you have to wonder, did Neo go somewhere wrong by taking the red pill? It depends. Is truth more important to you, or is experience more important? Because you could have a hellish experience in the machine world by taking the red pill, or you could have a blissful experience by taking the blue pill. Either of them have their sort of negative consequences, though, right? Because the blue pill, you're still living in the corporate world, slaving away for dollars to pay to the conglomerates. The money that never actually comes to you, it actually just circulates back to where you got it from. Or you could take the red pill and acknowledge the truth, quote unquote. Of course, we know from the second Matrix movie that the truth was really just another blanket on top of the original truth, or the truth, if you want to call it that, a veil over the original. And I think that's quite interesting too, because it's like you can never take the red pill, because the red pill is just a variation of the truth. It's a meta truth, right? And you're living in that as opposed to living in what you thought was the real world. The Matrix 2 did retcon that, of course. The first Matrix didn't really point to that. So in a way, the first Matrix is like a cooler film, but the second Matrix is a little bit deeper. Anyway, so on YouTube, kind of running out of time now and rambling at this point, but on YouTube, my journey was kind of my journey into philosophy, if you want to call it that, started with the red pill movement on YouTube. That's kind of what started everything. Of course, the red pill related to the Matrix again. And the red pill was this idea that you decide to see the truth, quote unquote, for what it is. And I think this is really the irony in the red pill movement, because it doesn't give you the truth. It gives you a repackaged meta truth through the minds of people who never had the truth. They just had their version of their meta reality. Now, keep in mind, I'm not suggesting any sort of transcendent truth when I say this. Actually, quite the opposite. But I think the funny thing about the red pill movement hiding behind this guise of truth is that that's all it is. It's an escapist sort of fantasy which you tell yourself you're living in as the reality. But really, it is no more red pill than blue. It's actually closer to a blue pill, which is funny. So in taking the red pill, you're actually just taking the blue pill with a red veil over it, right? And it's not even purple, it's still blue. So what did the red pill do? They promised men that they could escape all of the truths of reality, the truth about female nature, the truth about sex and reproduction and Briefalt's law and going monk mode and really claiming ownership of your own life, because that's the manly thing to do, is go out and do it your way. And as a young, impressionable man, how can that not look appealing, right? You've been, brought up a certain way, and anything different to what your parents may have raised you as or whatever your childhood looked like, you may have traumas attached to that. So then when a salesman comes up to you and offers you the freedom, the package that you open up, and there it is. It was always you all along. You had the freedom to do things your way, to live life the way you wanted. And so many men, myself included, fell into that trap. And it was a long, dark, waging war against the meta-truth of the manosphere. And it was a challenge because it was always a constant battle of, well, this seems intuitively right, but practically wrong. And that's all I could ever find myself in, was this constant struggle with my own head, thinking that I was actually unpackaging the real machine world, the real red pill, which opened my eyes to the truth. But as everyone finds out sooner than later, hopefully, you are just looking at another perspective. Shocker, I know, right? Someone who preaches one thing with not a full picture of everything, who would have thought they don't have the quote unquote capital T truth? But who does? I don't know. I don't know who does. Maybe people have facets of it. Maybe they're way off. Maybe they have all of it. And the people who don't follow are doomed to an endless void at the end of their life. Who knows? But culturally, truth has always been shifting, and it will inevitably continue to shift. Who knows what AI integration and human androids are going to look like. Pretty sure that'll shift the zeitgeist of all truth. And call me crazy. I embrace that with open arms. I think it'll be interesting, if nothing else. I'm not an accelerationist, by the way. Don't quote me on that. But I think that part of life really is allowing yourself to not resist the waters. Because if you resist the water, you will be destroyed by the current. So all you can really do is follow it. And you have to hope that at the end of the current, you're not in a den of fish skeletons. So, all in all, be careful which salesmans you're getting your packages from. Be careful taking red pills that may not actually be red. Be careful what you think and why you think that. Because no one's figured it out yet. Newsflash. Pretty crazy, huh? But anyway, I hope that y'all keep refining, as always. And thanks for stopping. Make sure you do all your liking and commenting and subscribing and all that stuff. You know how it works.